in regard to the military craft eradication methods of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Someone else is approaching. Are you having another fight, gentlemen? How predictable. A woman in heavy armor walks onto the bridge cloaked in an air of superiority. You remember seeing her before in the retinue of Xavier Calcazar when he barged into your chambers after your Magnae Accessio. Thank you for not starting without me. Acolyte Ishara, dispatched by the Lord Inquisitor to facilitate the operation on Euphrates II. My role on this war council is that of an advisor. Heinrichs and Ishara exchange glances, but do not say a word. You cannot help but notice the furrow that forms on the interrogator's forehead at the sight of his colleague. So shall we begin our war council, or shall we wait for heretics to corrupt this planet completely? Ishara, why are you here? The Lord Inquisitor entrusted me with the task of forging an alliance between the assembled fleet and the forces of the Cognizance fleet. Once this task is complete, I am to act as an observer and a special operative. And what are your responsibilities as a special operative? I am afraid the Lord Inquisitor did not give me the authority to elaborate on this matter. There is no surprise in my heart. The Inquisition is, as always, too ashamed of its dark deeds to reveal them to honorable fighters. Thorvald makes a show of spitting on the floor. There will be no spitting on my ship. Do I make myself clear, esteemed Lord Thorvald? What is this? A show of character. Thorvald growls and locks his indignant gaze with yours. Fine. I will respect your wishes, warlord, but the bitter taste of suspicion burns in my mouth. With pointed contempt, he steps away from Ishara. Why did Calcazar choose you? I happen to have some experience with large-scale bloodshed. Rogue trader, that, and I never fail to deliver results. What troops can you spare to reinforce our army? The militia forces have already been transferred to Opticon 22. All I have left under my command is a tactical unit explicitly instructed to carry out the Lord Inquisitor's special assignments. I see. Now let us move on to discussing how we intend to kill the heretics. I require a full report on the situation at the front. Euphrates II is a forge world. Manufactorums and extractiums take up most of its surface. Upon corrupting them, disrupting their production algorithm, the heretics enhance their ranks with possessed mechanisms and false, defective, traitorous Skitarii whose protocols were disfigured with indoctrinating scrap code. Our forces have secured minor footholds on the surface, but are unable to deliver an effective blow to the headquarters, operation center of the profaners of the Machine Cathedral at the heart of the Manufactorum Sigma S-13. According to available data, it is the current location of the arch-heretic termination target, the Dark Apostle Urlon the Cruel. We may outnumber the enemy, but ours is a poor warband. All it has is steel carrels of the Omnissiah and scantily trained serfs from across the expanse. While our foe is the detestable but nevertheless deadly putrid-hearted traitors from the ranks of the Word-Bearers, and their vessels protect the Machine Cathedral from orbit. Why have you still not commenced a planetary assault? There is a conflict, critical error, categorical lack of understanding of the imperatives of this operation within our chain of command. Unit Thorvald Ironhide is in favor of the strategy of mass destruction, which would constitute an unacceptable violation of the right of operation. Every square meter of the Manufactorums is sacred, of high productivity value. Which is why the Cog Priest is so intent on bickering and sabotaging our assault by refusing us forces and landing Drekkers. But Thorvald Ironhide won't fight on the terms of priests. If my battle plan is rejected, the Omnissiah's servants can retake the planet themselves. Maybe they think their lives mean nothing compared to their precious cathedrals, but a wolf knows what his life is worth. Opticon 22, I must say my curiosity is piqued. The explorators are hiding something on that planet, something you refuse to show to anyone and are now loath to destroy. What is it? The Tech Priest Vox creaks stubbornly. Request denied. The Omnissiah's mysteries procedures conducted on Euphrates II are to remain undisclosed according to the protocol vow of preservation of the hallowed from the profane. Then this is why on Fenris we have the priests follow the warriors and not the other way around. The priests never think about the battle ahead, only their tenets and taboos. But a wolf must think only of battle and his enemy's death, not about preserving cathedrals or counting the trophies that await him. Opticon 22, what do you propose our plan should be? Strategic analysis points toward a full-scale offensive as the optimal course of action. The losses among the troops / insignificant personnel / laity will be numerous, but will not exceed acceptable parameters. Replenishing such losses will be less arduous than repairing the damage that may otherwise come from the to the manufactorums. Thorvald, what would you do if you were in command of this operation? I would rain down vengeful skies upon the enemy. I would plow the land of Euphrates II with shells, shatter the defenses, level the fortified towers, throw their host into disarray, and in that whirlwind of fury, I would lead my glorious pack to pave a path of blood for the cog carls. I have heard your opinions. Choose your strategy wisely. It is not every day you get to heed the advice of a seasoned warrior, one chosen by the Allfather himself to bring death to the foes of humanity. I shall now present to you the plan of our assault on Euphrates II. The first step is obvious. We eliminate the Machine Cathedral's orbital support, but what planetary assault strategy will you choose following the destruction of the enemy Void Fleet? Choose the middle ground between them. We will begin by bombarding the enemy's positions, then advance cautiously. We must conserve our troops. Your plan bores me. This is not the Space Wolves' way of war, but such cowardly strategies are the limit of the Omnissiah's cog curls, so you have my approval. My pack will do all that is asked of it and stand at the vanguard of the assault, until we meet on the field of battle, Mukluk. Thorvald looks at Ulfar with a smirk, and I say the same to you, Ulfar Everlost. 'Tis a pity your pack will not share in the glorious victory with us. Ulfar lets out a bestial grumble and says to you, that boastful Grizoff talks too much about my pack. He knows where my brothers are, I can smell it. Before we dive into the carnage, summon him to your ship and let me question him. I wish to know what he knows, while he still has not lost his blathering tongue to the heretics. Strategy confirmed as optimal. Updating Skitarii tactical programs. Transmitting this unit's general/blessing/authorization for offensive action. Okay, just again for the new bloods, I believe the Skitarii are... They're kind of like the fighting force of the Adeptus Mechanicus. It's similar to the Servitors, I believe. Like, it's people that have been kind of cyborged into fighting units. The Lord Inquisitor will be delighted at the news that some semblance of order was established in the command. Wish you luck, Rogue Trader. Okay. He said to summon that guy to the ship. How do I do that? Maybe I talk to Ulfar?
Broke free the bold from captors grasping. Dark cities, feeble dungeons, eternally disgracing. Flows now this saga in the hall of glorious feasting, where all extol the wolf mighty, and the yet fatter cunning. I hope you're not going to put off the feast. Our escape demands a grand celebration.
Why do you wish to meet with Thorvald?
If anyone knows where my pack brothers are now, he does. But it is not right to speak of such things within others' hearing. That is why I thought it better to keep silent at the War Council.
Inform Thorvald he is invited to board the ship.
I thank you, Et Fater.
Alright, that one's Thorvald. Thorvald does not come alone, but with a young brother in arms. With a mocking glance at Ulfar, he bellows, Thorvald Ironhide is here. Why have you summoned me, Rogue Trader? Speak to me. Ulfar's usual brash joviality has evaporated from his voice. Know you, Thorvald, whether the path of battle has led my pack the baleful howl? You haven't lost your pack, have you ever lost? The young wolf's voice is strong and insolent and richly melodic. He tilts his head in mocking concern, watching Ulfar's complexion change to match the violent shade of his hair. Why do you call Ulfar Everlost? You do not know. I am not surprised. Brother Ulfar does not care for the moniker. He has had it since his early years in the chapter. When Ulfar underwent his trial of the Cup of Wolfen, he took so much longer than others that the Rune Priest gave him up for lost. Later, he received grievous wounds and raids that sent him into stasis sleep for a long time. Anytime we would pay a visit to the Baleful Howl, we would ask, where is Brother Ulfar? And he was always resting. And recently, he went missing altogether, lost after an attack on Xenos. Thorvald grins mockingly, his long fangs glinting. And forget not to tell of the dire curse that of yore was laid upon the mighty Ulfar. A no good death for him is sated, only to one day be lost, bereft of honor and glory. Halbert declaims the lines so sonorously and powerfully that the bulkheads begin to vibrate. Quick pause. Mattyman says they are people that were cyborged into fighting units. Yes, that is what's different. They still have their brains working, so not servitors. They can, however, be remote controlled by high-ranking tech priests, so one dude can basically control a whole squad or even army of meat puppets like they were part of that tech priest. Okay, so that's what the Skitarii are. Mahuyo says, Monk, when do you think you will get to the beta next week, as it starts on Wednesday, not Tuesday? So next week, they are actually starting Twitch drops on Wednesday, so it would benefit me greatly to be streaming Guild Wars 2 on those days anyway. So yeah, we'll probably be playing the beta when the beta starts. Any who crosses path, let him regale and gladly that proud warrior Halbrand Blatherskeet, singer of rumors and fine tattler of tall tales, for he has glimpsed no worthy deeds in his short life. Do you know where Ulfar's pack is now? Feasting with the Allfather in the Hall of Heroes, I reckon, with Miod filling their horns to the brim as valor and loyalty did fill their hearts. Lies! Did you see their bodies? Which of the brothers will avow the truth of these words? Ironhide never lies. The young's wolf arm cuts through the air like an axe as he angrily points at Ulfar. And you, Everlost, watch your tongue unless you want my dagger to deliver a penance of eternal silence upon you. No, we did not see the bodies, but we heard their ranting and raving, which can only lead to the jaws of Morkai. I would like to know the details. In the battle in which you, Everlost, Arnulf, and Skjadi were captured by the Xenos, the Baleful Howl took prisoners of their own. Under torture, the captive Xenos gave up the star coordinates of where they were to go next, some important meeting it seems. The place was far away, deep in the uncharted regions where the servants of the Allfather have never ventured, and your brothers decided to go there. No navigator would dare lead them to those dark places, so your brothers seized a trading boat and voyaged there without a helmsman. So you abandoned them to their grueling march? Ulfar's voice drops to a menacing rasp. Lower your hackles. I urge them not to throw away their lives in vain. Nothing but death could await them among those malevolent stars. We all came here to serve the Allfather and repay our blood debt, not to die for naught. Or have you forgotten that, Everlost? Ulfar, what will you do with this knowledge? I will not test our friendship, Eidveter. I know that if I call upon you to go with me in search of my pack, I will be taking you away from important battles and saving of your home. So I will go alone to seek my brothers, but I will not abandon you in your hour of need. I owe you. When we have defeated your enemies, I will leave you and follow the trail. That trail is bloody and has long since gone cold, Brother Ulfar. There's no need to add another body to its tally. As the leader of the Stormbiters, I call you to our pack. Be a brother to us now. Ulfar gives the peaceably smiling Thorvald a penetrating look, his face darkening and his voice dropping low to a bestial snarl. Have you lost your mind, Thorvald? Perhaps it is you who has lost his mind. You are daring to speak so insolently to Ironhide. Halbrand's insinuating tone is dripping with such menace that even the drawing of a sword could not have made his throat any clearer. His threat any clearer. Why do you want Ulfar to join your pack? He is our brother. He should not be left to wander the galaxy in the company of ordinary mortals or alone. Wolves are like sharp knives. We hone ourselves against each other, and without brothers, Ulfar will rust and grow dull. Be with us, Ulfar. We will take you in. Go to hell, Thorvald. They'll take you in there. What makes you so certain they are dead? When the Baleful Howl was setting off, we exchanged gifts, our pack runes. Every 10th watch, a priest cast the runes and saw what fate they revealed. 50 watches after the Baleful Howl left, the runes showed calamity. 60 watches after they left, death. Since then, the runes have been voiceless and their patterns hold no meaning. And that's it. The spirits deceive you. Your priest went a little soft in the head and forgot how to read his runes, and for that you give my pack up for dead. Cowards. The runes do not lie, Ulfar, you know this. I am sorry about your brothers, but their fate is clear. Ulfar, perhaps you should listen to him. And even if you remain deaf to my words, I will still not tell you where your brothers went. Respect your alpha, Ulfar. You are too quick to call yourself my leader, Thorvald. Go and bark commands at your pups. Who are you calling a pup, Everlost? Unlike your pathetic pack, we will soon go into battle and accomplish great deeds. But you, coward that you are, want to shirk your duty. Ulfar and Halbrandt's roars merge into a single word. Duel! If I yell stop soldiers, is that me talking to the two of them or to everybody else? I'm gonna say nothing and do not interfere. A harsh shout drowns out the two wolves who are ready to lunge at one another. Quiet, both of you! Have you forgotten where you are? Holmgang can only take place on solid ground, not on a boat. The void and the warp are treacherous and unfit to host a duel of the worthy. And secondly, I am your superior, Ulfar, and so I am not asking but ordering you to back up your chest beating with deeds. If the baleful Howl Pack is alive, as you say, let it march with the Stormbiters in the assault on Euphrates II. Let it display the valor all the stories tell of. Will you stand alone for all your brothers, or have you gone soft? Awareness succeeded. The wolf's leader's tone may be threatening, but you notice a slight glint in his eye. Ulfar, on the other hand, is growling furiously with no matching twinkle in his gaze. We'll see about that. I will prove that the Stormbiters will never be a match for the baleful Howl. Eight Veter, I must be at your side when you depart for the assault. Promise that you will grant me this honor. I promise, Ulfar, we will march into battle together. If you prove that your words carry more weight than a battle axe, I will tell you where your brothers went. If you fail, you will submit. Thorvald's lips curve into a superior smirk. Mug, I believe you played Borderlands 3. I played 1, 2, 3, and the pre-sequel. Will you play the 4th game? If there's more, yes. Tiger says, I wonder if Owlcat will ever have enough money for a publisher or so for a fully voiced game. Reading, I also like, but it gets exhausting how it can be. Yeah, I mean, like, when I play this on my own, I can do it much faster because I can just read it in my head. But when I'm reading it to you guys, it definitely takes a bit out of me. They've got another Warhammer Owlcat game coming out. What is it? Something Heresy? That is going to be out in the... That's under development right now, so that one could be voice acted. Like, or more voice acted. Where's Cabela? Over there.
Take heed, Nemo. Our blessed Domin honors us with a visit. May the
I wanted to see if she had anything new to say after that whole mess that we had a conversation of. Alright, so we've got a war plan between these two forces. The Rogue Trader's ship took its place at the center of the attack formation. The right flank was guarded by the sacred combat vessels of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and the left consisted of the combined forces gathered by the Lord Inquisitor, headed by a frigate of the indomitable Space Wolves. The enemy deployed their ships in a wide arc in an attempt to surround the squadron, but the heretics' plan was not meant to be. Thorvald and Opticon 22 sent their detachments forward, tying up the enemy in combat and presenting the Lord Captain with a chance to deliver a blow at the very heart of the enemy position, where the flagships of these traitors to humanity awaited their final hour. Oh, are we gonna do a space battle before we land? It sounds like it. Wait, do a Space Marine just spit on your floor? They have acid saliva that's dangerous? Do all Space Marines have acid saliva, or just some of them? Alright. Where's the enemy ship? It's over there. That's a big ship. Blasphemous Styx-class heavy cruiser. All of them? Well then.
Voidmaster, if you please. Engage the lads.
Oh god. That thing is thick! Reinforce the front shields. Dude, what? Target is too far! It's What? There we go. Dude, it's so fat. I was having trouble finding a spot where the interceptor could reach it from outside of its hitbox. No, my interceptors. Okay, the front shields are finally down. Weak points on the back of it, of course.
The destination is known.
Reinforce the left shields. Okay, all of their little mini ships are dead.
Commence the symphony of macro cannons. Set course.
You can barely see that thing getting scratched.
Rip them apart.
The Betcher's gland is what gives Space Marines acid spit. They might be able to turn it off, I don't know. Imperial Fists and their successors have lost the ability, though. For example, I know some Space Marines, if they eat the brains or something of an enemy, they can gain the memories that that one had. But I also know that that's, like, not all of them. So I wasn't sure if the acid spit thing was all of them or just some of them.
The destination is known.
Alright, reinforce the right shields. Empyrean Storm.
Target void shield has been weakened.
Okay, so now we just got that little guy.
They pale before
Nice.
our mastery of the void.
What do we got? do that. Don't need to repair. Everything's still full. Okay. A general once said all wars are fundamentally the same. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. Grok shit. That general didn't witness the events on Euphrates too. Rogue trader Mukluk von Valancius was the supreme commander in that battle, a man of iron will. Unfaltering, unshakable, I served in his personal enforcer guard back then, just another cocky kid who thought he was an expert
The
soldier.
Windshark gifted a tier 1 sub to Emperor of Mankind. They have given 159 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you, Windshark. Savmaster says Betcher's gland is what gives Space Marines acid spit. They might be able to turn it off, though. Each Space Marine Legion has unique organs and abilities, but they share many traits. They are all considered cousins in a sense. I'm 99% sure the acid spit is something a Space Marine needs to consciously choose to use. Okay. Rogue trader Mukluk von Valancius was the supreme commander in that battle, a man of iron will, unfaltering, unshakable. I served in his personal enforcer guard back then, just another cocky kid who thought he was an expert soldier. The Emperor was gracious to me. He gave me a chance to realize how wrong I was. Most of my comrades didn't get a chance like that. The shuttles would have blocked out the sun if you could have seen it through the smoke of the Manufactorum city of Sigma S-13. At its heart stood the Machine Cathedral, our primary objective. The Lord Captain showed us mercy by having the landing zone bombarded from orbit. All of the shuttles carrying troops and, more importantly, precious vehicles reached their destination. Daunted by our numbers, the enemy withdrew. That was the perfect moment for a decisive attack. With an armored vehicle force of this size, we had the upper hand. Upon descending from orbit, Sister Argenta inspired the troops with the very first notes of her prayers. Her singing was the Emperor's voice commanding us to fight without any regard for our own lives. After rousing the soldiers to launch a daring raid, she quickly captured one of the heretic commanders. That was when we heard a starkly different voice come from the Sister of Battle. Trembling with fury, she personally interrogated the miscreant, pulling one poisoned confession after another out of him. Once she was done, the world was purged of his impure breath, and she was the one wielding the flamer. The sight of that heretic writhing in flames was imprinted upon our memories, shining a light in the cruel darkness of our immediate future like a brilliant beacon. In the command center, the Lord Captain ordered his generals to... Lore Imperium, commence a rapid tank assault in accordance with the military doctrine Armored Wave devised by Lord Militant Justice Quinn, known by Jay. Our negligible losses during the landing stage gave us enough armored vehicles for a decisive push against the enemy's positions. We began our advance. I will never forget the roar of the tank, its treads tearing the heretics' infantry to pieces, accompanied by the shrieks of las guns and the rumble of heavy artillery. The deafening symphony of war. Nothing could stop us. We marched in the wake of a column of armored beasts, not turning to look at the mushroom clouds, climbing over piles of enemy bodies and those of our own. We had our orders. Pushing through the ruins of sacred workshops, we looked with awe upon machines that up until that point had remained forbidden to the eyes of the laity. They were palaces of incredible and frightening technology, void ship assembly halls, alchemical atriums, sacred arsenals, generators producing invisible fields unsettling to the mind, and scriptorums containing knowledge of horrors best left undiscovered. In one of the chemical chapels, we came upon a shipment of cisterns containing hallucinogenic gas. The tech priest protested that the substance was not designed for warfare, that it was created for higher rituals, but the officers wasted no time pumping our artillery shells full of that gas. We got Joker juice in the guns now? At last, we reached the gates of Doc Mu 514, the threshold of the metal nightmare that was Manufactorum Sigma S-13. However, the initial attempts to storm the dock shattered against the enemy's defenses. Magos Dominus Opticon 22 proposed to tech sabotage. He could send small Skitarii units behind the enemy lines and have them subdue the spirits of the area's defense systems. Thorvald, the fierce leader of the Space Wolves, proposed to send infiltrators beyond the walls to kill enemy officers and weaken the dock's defenses. The Lord Captain ordered... the only one of these that is 100%. The shelling of the enemy with gas munitions procured on the surface. As per regulations, we waited until the gas clouds allowed minimal visibility, checked our filter mask, blasted the gates with our tank meltas, and charged in. Many heretics had already perished at the hands of their comrades who were fighting nightmares only they could see. We had no trouble cleaning up the rest of the disjointed lunatics. It took us many days to break through to the metal heart of the Manufactorum. In the third week of the assault, the vanguard was